certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
And welcome to another episode of Rankum. This is going to be a fun one today. You're probably going to see a few of these episodes pop up this year because we're doing top 12 insert genre here of the 2020s. Today we're doing top 12 comedies of the 2020s so far. And I've got a great one here. We've got Chris Dares here. Chris, how's it going?
Doing good. Here to have fun. This is one of my favorite genre of movies. I love comedy. There's been a lot of really good ones this decade so far. Excited to talk about them.
Also here I've got stand-up comedian Jacob Barber here. Jacob, how's it going?
It's going well, yes. I love to laugh. I love to make people laugh. I love to talk about movies that may or may not make people laugh. So I'm here to have a good time as well.
I've also got another stand-up comedian here, JPO. JPO, how's it going?
I would have been very hurt if you just said, and this guy, JPO.
I
I've
was
done a
waiting
couple
for it.
giggles, gaggles there. I opened up for Hannibal Buress, Justin McKinney, Felipe Esparza. That was years ago, though. God, I'm washed up. But I'm happy to be here. How you guys doing?
With that, how Rankin works is we each go around and nominate a movie we think belongs on a top 12 list, and everyone else says to know. Because we do have an odd number of people, it's only going to come down to the people that aren't not doing the nominating. We may have someone else join us at some stage, but for now it's just us four. But we're going to go to Chris first. Chris, what is the first movie you're going to bring up?
You know what? I was debating whether to bring it up now or later, but I don't bring it up. This is my favorite comedy of this decade so far. I know some people see it a little bit overrated, but every time I watch it, I laugh my ass off. Bottom. It came out 2023. With Richard Savoy and Ayo, you say the name for the bear. About the two lesbians that decided Ada Berry. They decided to start their own female fight club at the high school to get laid with the cheerleader. This movie is hysterical. It's very raunchy, but my God, the jokes per minute by Fair are really good. Her speech about what they happened to her when she turned adult is one of the most funny moments in the movie. I heard that long rant she got on to. How she did end up with the gay guy and they had that weird thing and all of this. Marshawn Lynch is hysterical at their teacher. Like, his lack of knowledge of stuff and some of the inside joke with him, like the stuff he write on the board. But when writes it's just, and the ending is hysterical. Like the football match at the end. I won't spoil it for anybody have watched it and never seen it, but it's shocking funny as hell, man. But yeah, Bottom. It's one of my favorite comedy in the black comedy.
Jacob, what do you say about Bottoms?
I want to give it a yes because of Seattle Seahawks legend Marshawn Lynch, but unfortunately I haven't seen it, so I will have to abstain from this one.
JPO, what do you say about Bottoms?
Well, I have seen it because I'm a good person, and I do love Marshawn Lynch.
That's supposed to be.
I don't know either. I'm sorry. I immediately take that back. I like it. I didn't love it. Even that year, I don't even think it's in my 5 favorite comedies. I just think it went too over the top. At some points, it lost me. So it's a no for me.
Yeah. And being from New Zealand, I had no idea who Marshawn Lynch even was.
I don't give a shit about sports. He's just been funny in the things he's done since.
I wasn't saying you did. I just, if you told me he was a sports player, I would have said, okay. Like,
right.
I actually really love Bottoms. I thought it was great. I would have said yes to it easily, but it is what it is. It's not going to make the list. Jacob, what is the first one you're going to bring up?
Yeah, the first one, yeah, JPO and I just did a countdown of our favorite movies of the 2020s so far, and this one made my list. So naturally, I have to bring it up when it comes to, just overall comedies of the decade so far. Hundreds of Beavers is fantastic. It is so funny. The silent movie aspect of it, even though there's lots of sound in the movie. There's no hardly any dialogue. Slapstick at its best, in my opinion. Very much akin to the silent movies of the 1920s. But they're doing it here 100 years later. I love the small budget look to it, the low budget look to it. I just think there's lots of good physical comedy. It's absolutely hilarious. I did not expect to love it as much as I did upon that first watch. Was I watching it before we went live? Yes, I was, because I love this movie that much. It's my second favorite of last year. I just think it's fantastic. Definitely one of those rewatchable comedies for me personally. So Hundreds of Beavers will be my first nomination. I'm hoping JPO has seen it between Friday and now.
What do you say about Hundreds of Beavers?
This might be a long night, guys. I think Chris said he didn't see it. I haven't seen it yet. I wanted to, and then
because you're not a good person.
I just didn't because I'm not a good person.
It doesn't feel good, does it?
Nah, I don't like that at all.
I take it back. You're a great person.
And a very bizarre twist. I actually have seen hundreds of
Yay!
I saw that it was on Shudder over here, so I was like, you know what, I'll watch it. And I will say I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. I honestly didn't find it that funny. Though, but it's one of those ones like. I think I think it just was. I thought it was just trying too hard to do the live action Looney Tunes type stuff, and it just like the comedy aspect didn't work. But I thought it was still a good silent movie, if that makes any sense. I'm going to give it. I'll give it a slight yes, but see how this goes. Chris, what have you seen? Hundreds of Beavers?
I have not, but
maybe I should have waited.
You know what, Jacob? I did it.
No, don't do it. If you haven't seen
we
it,
allowed to even do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would feel bad for not doing it for Bottoms. Don't do that.
You know, if Wolfman show up, maybe he changed his vote for either one. So let's see.
Yeah. But with that, Hundreds of Beavers isn't going to make the list. And also, if someone was to make a porno version of that, they just wouldn't have to change the title.
You guys, we're 0 for 2.
But JPO was the first movie you were going to bring up.
Yeah, so we were talking off air. There's a lot of mixed genres. So I'm going to go for a great dramedy. But the humor is still very much there. I want to nominate The Holdovers. Hopefully get on the list here. A great Alexander Payne movie here, who is very good in general of mixing the comedy with the drama here. Just from get-go, there's not really a false note. I love these three human beings that come together because they would have never spent more than 5 minutes with each other, but now based on the circumstances of the school and the winter, they have spent all this time together here. Giamatti, the new kid, and the young kid, and then, of course, Devondre Randolph, all given tremendous performances here. Giamatti's my boy. He'll break your heart. He'll make you laugh. He'll make you kind of hate him for a second. He does everything. The Holdovers.
Yeah, the Holdovers is really good. And it's one of those ones that that surprised me when I finally got a chance to see it. Like everyone was raving about it. Like I had to wait for months, just so long, a bit longer for it to finally release it over here. But when I finally saw it, I thought it was really good, and I loved it. So it's getting a yes from me. Chris, what do you say about the Holdovers?
On my list, I love this movie. Some people see a drama comedy, but I see it just as funny as it is dramatic, and I laughed my ass off a lot. The gym scene it's hysterical. Like it, and it also great drama about. But yeah, 2 yes for me. Finally got something on the list.
And Jacob, what do you say about the holdovers?
Yeah, this is one of those movies that I was thinking of too. I was like, because I wanted to bring it up as well. I was like, are people going to think it's more of a drama than a comedy? Is there enough comedy in there to justify it being on a list like this? And I think there absolutely is. It's one of those where I think the dramatic moments hit more than the comedic moments do for me personally, but I still think the comedic moments are absolutely hilarious. I think, yeah, it's a well written script. And yeah, Paul Giamatti rocks. Anything he's in. He made me enjoy the Planet of the Apes remake anytime he was on screen. That's how good he is. So shout out Paul Giamatti, Dominic Sessa, in his first major role. I don't know if it was his first role, but yeah, he absolutely kills it. And yeah, just the movie is fantastic. So yes.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that was his very, very first role ever.
Nailed it.
But that holdover is going to be the first one to make this list. And for my first one, I'm going to continue down that same vein. I'm going to go for a movie that I really loved from last year, which according to the Golden Globes is a comedy. But it's one of those ones that's and I'm going for Anora. I thought this movie was really good. And once again, it's another one of those where the dramatic moments hit more, but it does have a good amount of comedy throughout the movie as well. And it's just a really good movie. I think and Mikey Madison is amazing in this as well, and I think she's great. But Chris, what do you say about Anora?
This is a film that I didn't think of and come up this late, but think about it. Yeah, it's really funny. It's funny. The first half hour doesn't feel like comedy, but when that home invasion scene happened, when the family come into play, it becomes really like dark comedy, and like that scene is hysterical as hell. Like, you know what? We need some weirdness on this list. Yeah, for me, I love this movie. This is my number 5 of last year on my top 10 list.
Jacob, what do you say about Anora?
This was what was going to worry me was how many of these 2024 movies that I haven't been able to get to yet would get brought up, and this was one of them. I've heard really good things about it. I do plan on checking it out soon, as award season ramps up, but unfortunately I just haven't been able to see it yet.
And JPO, what do you say about Anora?
Seriously, Jacob? Yeah, I haven't either, so I know how you feel. No, I want to. I really do. I just didn't see it in theaters, and I'm not spending $20 waiting for it to be on a streamer of some sort.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But Chris, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
You need some action comedy. I think be up one day. Not a lot of people saw it and seen it. It's bomb like 2 years ago, but it's really great fantasy comedy. Dungeons and Dragon on a Monday. Like this is really, 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 really funny movie. Like this, like Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, everybody kept hitting out of pot. The humor is great, the action's great. You see about that Griffins thing, like that one of the most funny joke in the movie. Like the graveyard scene when then they got the grave and they keep getting it wrong, and everything. It's just like one of the biggest comedy surprises last couple years that I was expecting a lot, but I laughed my ass off. I hope we get sequel down the line on a TV show. This is a really pleasant comedy action movie.
Jacob, what do you say about Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves?
Yeah, this was a movie when I saw like the trailer and everything, I was like, oh, that's gonna be fine. It's gonna be one of those, based off of an existing property. It's gonna be fine. And then I watched the movie, and yeah, I absolutely loved it. I thought the action was great. I thought the comedy absolutely landed. I love Bradley Cooper's character in the movie. I think he's absolutely hilarious. I think, yeah, it's definitely one of the better action comedies of the decade that we've gotten so far. I think it's got that rewatchability that I like in the comedy. So I'm gonna give it a yes.
JPO, what do you say about Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves?
I do like this one a lot here. Yeah, kind of has already been stated. It was one of the biggest, to me, surprises of the year. You know what I mean? Because the first one didn't really work with Marlon Wayans and whatnot. So they're trying it again. Yeah, you never know. Is it going to end up just being okay? But no, it really is consistently funny here. It's very close. I don't mind if it's going to make it at all because it's in my 20, but it's not in my 12, so I have to say no.
Yeah, I love Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I think it's a great, and as someone who's like really into Dungeons and Dragons, like I just had a lot of fun, like finding moments in the lore and that they sprinkled throughout the movie as well, with, spells and that. And I think it was just great. So it's an easy use for Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. So if that's going to make the list, and we're going to go to Jacob.
Yes, and you know what this list needs? This list needs a really good biopic. And what better biopic than Weird, the Al Yankovic story? I thought this movie was absolutely hilarious. I think Daniel Radcliffe absolutely kills it as Weird Al. I think it's great casting too because he's like a foot shorter than Weird Al actually is. So I love the parody aspect of it. I love the fact that they use Weird Al's actual singing and not Daniel Radcliffe, even though Daniel Radcliffe can also sing. I thought, just the choices that they make, the ridiculousness of it all, the fact that none of it is true, but it's like that's what you expect from a Weird Al biopic. It's a parody of himself, and for the most part, though, the Michael Jackson stuff, that was all true. Eat It is an original Weird Al production, and I won't hear otherwise. Michael Jackson ripped off Weird Al, and justice needs to be brought forward. It's absolutely hilarious. I absolutely love this movie. I didn't know it was going to get a physical release, but as soon as I saw it at Walmart, I was like, oh, I need that movie because the internet might not last forever. I love this movie. It was one of my favorites of the year it came out. I think it's absolutely hilarious. Jordan, don't fail me.
JP, what do you say about Weird, the Al Yankovic story?
Well, I'm going to fail you. I feel like such a dick so far, not saying yes. Again, this just shows you these are hard when you're doing literally 5 years worth of movies. Because again, it's in my 25. I do enjoy it. It's not in my 12, so I'm not going to mind if it makes it, but I have higher things. So it's
I just couldn't remember if you'd seen it or not. So you didn't fail me. Thank you.
Oh no, I've seen it. And I do like it. And again, it's just a different distraction. It makes it sweet, but it's not as high for me.
Yeah. It's one of those ones that I'm glad. I'm glad it got a physical release because I didn't want to. Because with not having Roku here, I didn't want to have to keep pirating it every time I had to watch it. I thought Red it was a really good biopic, and as Jacob said, like for it to be a parody biopic, it's really on brand for Red to do it that way, and I wish we got a theatrical release so his song his end credit song could actually be nominated for an Oscar.
He even mentions that.
Yeah, it would have been funny if they did because of how the song goes, but it's an easy yes for me. I'm saying yes to Red Al. Chris, what do you say about Red, the Al Yankovic story?
Another film that escaped my mind with trying to make my list. I love Red. That's hysterical. I mean, as soon as you start with the advertisement guy coming to the house and the father being the shit out of him, like almost Looney Tunes style, it's the Evan Rachel Wood is hysterical in the movie. Like the up with her and really bizarre. The end credits though with the photo of him and Queen Elizabeth and all of that. Like some of the most funniest shit in the movie. A huge yes for me. I've been trying to get my parents to watch this, but we don't have Logan. But I think they eventually get them watch it.
but that red yellow Angel Sword is going to make the list.
You guys can say no to everything else I bring up. I don't care anymore.
But Dave, we're going to go to you for your next nomination.
All right, I'm just moving my list along here, keeping track. All right, let's just go simply to a really funny, another action comedy. Right here, Deadpool and Wolverine. Again, just really funny consistently. All the different Deadpools, Nice Pool is the funny stuff. Ryan Reynolds is fucking Ryan Reynolds. It's great seeing this character back. The intercuts. I'm going to Disney. All the intercuts with him is good. Fantastic cameos, including, of course, Chris Evans as Johnny Flame or whatever.
Flame
And
on.
and then his little monologue at the end where you find out he did say all those things about her. So yeah, let's go Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah. Deadpool and Wolverine is great. It was definitely one of those ones that I didn't know what to expect. When it was last year, it's one of those ones like it's either going to be really good or it's going to be corny as hell. And I'm glad it landed somewhere in the middle because it was a lot more fun than I expected it, and it's one of those ones like the cameos weren't essentially weren't cameos, but they actually had something to do in the plot rather than just being there for just look, it's Lex.
Except for poor ass Sabretooth.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's it's one of those ones. I think I said it on something before. It's funny because the ones that people are labeling as cameos aren't really cameos. The actual cameos is the main people from the original Deadpool movies who only really had a little bit of screen time at the start.
Yeah.
So and
all the buddies got sidetracked. It's only sad part. Same thing with the third Ant-Man. I missed all the side characters.
Well, to be fair, at least the side characters actually got shown in the movie as opposed to the Ant-Man. A lot of them weren't even shown there. But yeah, Deadpool was a lot of fun, and just about don't even try and sue Disney all their lives. I don't think that Nice Pool is anything a parody of it. Chris, what do you say about Deadpool and Wolverine?
So this is in my 20 list for favorite comedy of this decade. I love Deadpool and Wolverine a lot. I think it's very funny. It's funny than a lot of the top. No, but it made me laugh a lot. You get a slight yes for me. Like it's right in my number 11.
Jacob, what do you say about Deadpool and Wolverine?
It's all right, I guess. No, I absolutely love this movie. Hugh Jackman is one of my favorite actors. I think he is fantastic. I love seeing him back as Wolverine. In the yellow suit. I think that was really cool. I loved all the marketing leading up to this movie too, like the announcement. Hey Hugh, do you want to play Wolverine one more time? Yeah. Like the announcement, I thought that was really fun. Yeah, everything leading up to it. The cameos, yeah, like they're extended like they're characters. They're not cameos. I thought they were all fantastic. This just makes me want a Gambit movie even more. Let's go. I'm rooting for you, Channing Tatum or Channing Tatum. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's one like just like Dungeons and Dragons. I think it's one of the best action comedies that we've gotten from the decade so far. So yeah, I'll give it a yes.
I'm gonna make a name for myself here. Deadpool and Wolverine is going to make the list. For my next nomination, I'm going to get out of 2023 and 2024 for a bit, and not go too much. I'm going to go for the best picture in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Look, and this is one of those like crazy sort of multiverse things that like came out really early on the year, but like it just kept on. Like, a lot of people either kept on watching it or just stayed in their minds all the way through to win Best Picture that year. And so it was just a really entertaining movie, and the Daniels, I think, are talented directors. I can't wait to see what they do next. And Yeah. So and Michelle Yeoh was also really good in the movie too, like playing multiple versions of herself, and it was good to see the resurgence of Kiki Kwan as well. But Chris, what do you say about Everything Everywhere All at Once?
This is my number 12 on my list. I love this film. This is one of my favorite movies this decade so far. I see it weird. I see it bizarre. Not the only other bizarre 2023 movie on my list. But I see it perfectly funny. Jamie Lee Curtis, the action, the freaking dildo scene. Like when you think about like bizarre moment that made you laugh so hard. I love this film. This is like one of the best picture winners from this decade so far.
Jacob, what do you say about Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yeah. Anytime a movie can make me laugh because of a dildo fight, but also make me get emotional at two rocks just sitting on a screen, you made a really good movie. Yeah, the humor definitely lands. The action lands. The dramatic stuff absolutely lands. Yeah, it's not just one of the best comedies of the decade. It's one of the best movies of the decade. Another movie that JPO and I might have brought up when we did our countdown on Friday. Go check that episode out over on the Pierce Co. So yeah, this is gonna get an easy yes for me. I don't know. I find other movies on the list funnier, so I don't know like how high it'll be ranked, but it definitely deserves to be on the list.
JPO, what do you say about Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yeah, that would be my only hesitation. Is I don't know if it's the directly funniest, but it's fucking awesome. So I'll go yes.
And that Everything Everywhere All at Once, or as I'm going to refer to it from here on in, but no, that bad pun I've lost track of what it was. Chris, I think we're on to you. Chris, what's your next nomination?
So I'm going to bring up the one I kind of hinted at for another 2023 movie. A weird movie, but it's a hysterical weird movie. Poor Thing. Like this did like won Emma Stone her Oscar, like her second Oscar. This movie is hysterical. Like Emma Stone, like the stuff she does in the movie is bizarre but hysterical. Her driving Mark Ruffalo and freaking nuts and watching him just get like headache upon headache, and the both scene itself when they dancing and she's winking at other guy and Mark Ruffalo takes his friend beating shit out of the people on the boat. Like their whole dynamic hysterical of Willing Dafoe. It's extremely funny in the movie. Like the thought bubble is really funny gag in the movie. Robbie, it's really good in the movie, very funny as like the street man type role. It yoga at its weirdest, but it's so freaking funny and so freaking weird. I think that film is way more clever than you think it would be. Like,
Jacob, what do you say about Poor Things?
I'm torn on this one because I do see the humor in it, but for me, it's more weird, but in a good way. I do think there's some really good performances here. I do think Emma Stone is giving a fantastic performance, a well-deserved win. Man, I think for me, it's not one of those where I think of the comedy first. So it's one of those. If it makes the list, I'm not going to be upset, but I am just going to give it a slight no.
JPO, what do you say about Poor Things?
Yeah, I like it and respect it, but I have found it overrated on a couple levels, and that's in fact just as in like top of the years. It's still really good, but yeah, it's a no for me, dog. So
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I love Poor Things. I think it's great. And yeah, it's one of those ones like Emma Stone's quickly becoming a Yorgos Lanthimos regular, because she's going to be in his next movie this year as well. But yeah, and I like it. It is one of those ones where when I saw the Golden Globes put it in comedy, it's like, is it? I was like, and it's just one of those ones like, I do think it's a good movie. I don't see the comedy in it, so I was also going to say no as well. But with that, we're going to move over to Jacob. What is your next nomination?
I'm gonna shoot my shot for an animated movie that I think absolutely nails some comedy, and that's Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Yes.
I think this movie is fantastic. I think the animation is great, but I do think
Chris loves to spoil his vote.
But yeah, I think it's a great family movie. Great. I think there's some great comedy here with the family dynamic here. Kind of taking on the technology. Yeah, it was a very much a surprise. This movie was not on my radar at all, but when I watched it, I absolutely loved it. I think the humor absolutely lands. One of my favorite animated movies of the decade. So yeah, I'm gonna shoot my shot and see if I can get an animated movie on the list.
I'm totally playing poker with Chris. If I meet him in person, I might move in with it. It's like Full House.
Oh, 2-7.
But JPO, what do you say about Mitchell's versus the Machines?
If an animated movie gets on the list, this would be it, in my opinion. This is, I think, easily the funniest of the animation movies from the last few years. It's, again, I'm a broken record. It's right outside. It's in my 20. It's not in my 12, so I have to give it a slight no.
Respect it.
Yeah, I like Mitchell's versus the Machines. I think it's entertaining, but it's also another one I'm going to give a slight no to as well. Like, I think it's I think it's funny and that, but it's just it just didn't hit all that well for me all the time. But Chris, what do you say about Mitchell's versus the Machines?
I had two animated movies on my list. This is one of them. I love this movie. The freaking Furby scene. How do you make the most cutest toy, the most terrifying thing you ever see animated thing? One of the most funny sequence. Yeah, I love this film. Olivia Colman is just great at the dry humor in this film. Everybody killing it. Easily Danny McBride, one of his best performances he gave. It would have been a yes for me. I would have got you back here, Jacob.
But unfortunately, Mitchell's vs. Machines isn't going to make the list. JPO, we're going to go to you next. What is your next nomination?
All right, I believe I'm going to go to one actually from the beginning of the decade. Let's check out my Hulu favorite, Palm Springs, with Andy Samberg and Kristen Milioti. We've been spoiled with some really fun Groundhog Day, time loop movies here. This one is great. It's the R-rated, version of that here. They hold nothing back. They talk about suicide and everything, and they talk about, he gets. I love the little sequence where he first gets kind of like dances up to her, and he has all the practical things mapped out. So hilarious here. Fun side stuff with J.K. Simmons. This movie it holds up too, even on rewatch. Funny enough, and so I got to vote for Palm Springs.
I think Palm Springs is a great movie, and it's definitely a really good time loop movie as well. It's going to be yes from me as well. Chris, what do you say about Palm Springs?
That would have been yes. This is my, I believe, 2 of 5. I had to look at my list to keep changing. I love this film. This is a film that kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people because 2020, not a lot of people watched stuff for 2020, apparently. But I see hysterical. J.K. Simmons is freaking hysterical at the guy that revenge Andy Samberg and damn, they a couple of times trying to kill him and stuff when he pulled him over the police officer and Christy Milioti going a little psycho on J.K. Simmons, pretty funny. Christy Milioti is fantastic in the actress. She really become one of the actors to look out for. Huge for me.
And Jacob, what do you say about Palm Springs?
Yeah, no, I love Palm Springs. I think it's a great time loop movie, very funny. One of the bright spots of the year that was 2020. So yeah, I didn't watch a lot of new movies in 2020. I just had to go look at my list. There's 33 on the list. I think I spent that year just watching movies I know I like and just kind of forgetting about the year that was. But this was definitely a bright spot when it comes to new movies. I think it was absolutely hilarious. Great performances. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and honestly, it's one of those ones. I don't think it was a case of people weren't watching a lot of movies in 2020. I think it was just a lot of the movies that came out were forgettable. Some streaming movies were at the same as well. Like there were just some that were just like stood out among the rest. But if that Palm Springs is going to make the list, it comes back round to me. And I don't know how this one is going to go because I don't know how many people have seen it. But I'm gonna and those that know me know that I'm not a big foreign language person. But this is one of those rare ones that did hit when I watched it, and it's the worst person in the world. And it's I think it's a really great foreign language movie, and it's just one of those ones like it definitely talks about like the whole like turning 30 and then like kind of stuff you go through and then and I think it's just one of those financial movies I think is great. It's really entertaining um and especially if one scene it's slightly disturbing as well. But I think it was in a one and I want to say it was nominated for best international feature, but I don't know.
I believe so.
Yeah. But Chris, have you seen The Worst Person in the World?
I have not. I've been wanting to watch it, but I just have not got around to watching it yet.
Jacob, what do you say about The Worst Person in the World?
Well, I mean, that's me. No. Yeah, no, it was nominated for international feature and also nominated for the screenplay, original screenplay.
That's right. That's right.
No, this was one like around the Oscar time. I wanted to watch it, but just never found the time to get around to it, and then I just kind of forgot about it. So unfortunately, I haven't seen it.
JPO, what do you say about The Worst Person in the World?
I mean, Jacob's fine. I don't know if it's the worst. I have not seen the movie though.
I didn't know they made a movie about me, so
yeah.
Where
Malcolm loves it.
checks?
I'm a little scared to watch it.
But Chris, we go to you. What is the next movie you're going to bring up?
I didn't shoot my shot here. I'm not sure how it did go because I'm not sure if people have seen it or that people don't see it as funny as people. Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger that came out Disney Plus for this decade. I think this is another really great Andy Samberg comedy for this decade so far. Him and is it John Mulaney who did the other voice? That's to correct me.
Yeah. He's new in town and he's making a voice.
Yeah. Like they both shift out together. John Mulaney also on one of my other lists, but I probably will get to it when I get to it. But everybody finally off into the ugly Sonic making his redemption here. Like that Sonic when he got there. It's just a funny look at a show we all grew up with from the 80s and 90s. And they really did a good job, like love letter to people who grew up with it. The Peter Pan thing, the hysterical. J.K. Simmons also really funny. And Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger.
Jacob, what do you say about Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers?
I like it. I think it might be one of the better hybrid movies. I do think there's some really good humor. But as far as like my favorite 12 of the decade, I don't think it's quite there. Probably top 20. I do think it's really good, but I'm gonna have to give it a slight no.
JPO, what do you say about Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers?
Yep, it's a 25, but it's not quite in the 12. Slight no. I really do dig it. It does some interesting stuff.
Yeah, I also really like it, but it's just outside of the range I was going for, and I like it. It's definitely good, but that's a no for me as well. Jacob, we move to you for your next nomination.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to 2022 as well. And I'm going to go with The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Nicolas Cage playing Nick Cage. What more do you need? He's absolutely hilarious. Also, shout out to Pedro Pascal. I think he's great as well. Yeah, I think he was coming off the success of Pig, and we were like, all right, what's next? This movie was announced, and I'm like, I'm in 100%, and it did not fail to deliver. So, yeah, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which is also something I have to deal with. So I get it.
It's a gift and a curse.
JPO, what do you say about the massive rate of talent?
The massive weight of unbearable talent. That's
yeah.
No, this is a yes for me. Yeah, I would have mentioned this in the next round or two. I think this movie's hilarious. I love Nicolas Cage. I think I'm to Nicolas Cage. Pedro Pascal is great as the fanboy who, you're not sure if you're supposed to like it first, and luckily you are later. So yeah, this movie dope.
Yeah. I also would have brought this up as well. I love the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. This is another one that that it's one of those ones that I saw the trailer for. Was like, I don't know what to expect from it. Like, and it's one of those ones like, not that I've been a major Nick Cage fan, but it was like, this looks like Nick Cage I remember and love, and we got all versions of Nick Cage in this. Yeah, I think it's great, entertaining, and honestly, I want to see more movies where Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage team up, because I think they make a really good pairing. Chris, what do you say about the Unbearable?
I liked Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent a lot. This is just outside my top 12. Just my honorable mention. I like this movie a lot. I love the Paddington 2 reference. As someone who Paddington 2 in my top 20 of favorite movie all time. I really gave it a slight no just because there's just a couple comedy I prefer a little bit more. But
Too bad.
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is going to make the list. JPO, what is your next nomination?
Let's jump back to last year. In fact, I'm doubling up on June Squibb, because now we're going from Palm Springs, which she's in, to her leading performance in Thelma. I loved this movie from last year here. This old lady who, steals the Vespa, the little scooter from Richard Roundtree, who's also giving a hell of a performance here, goes to find out, who scammed her. The last scene with Malcolm McDowell is so good. Stuff with her nephew is fantastic. This movie rocks, Thelma.
Yeah, I managed to get around to seeing Thelma earlier this year, and yeah, it's really entertaining. Like, it's but one of those fun action comedies where the action is all about, like, can this old person's find the four stop signs and hack into these technology stuff. It's just one of those entertaining movies, and and it's just one of those ones that I wish more people would see. Is like, and yeah, I'm going to give it a slight yes to Thelma. I think it's great. Chris, what do you say about Thelma?
I love Thelma. It is a movie in my top 20 this past year. I think it's very funny. I give it a slight yes because I should have the rest of my list. There you go, right now. With the way you guys been voting.
Jacob, what do you say about Thelma?
Yeah, I didn't know I needed a scooter chase scene between June Squibb and Richard Roundtree in my life. But now that it is a part of my life, I would never want to let that go. No, this movie was really good. It would just be outside the 12 for me. But I'm not upset that it's making the list. I would have given it a slight no, but it's still really good.
That film is going to make the list. Got 4 spots left. and it's back to me, and I'm gonna try and get a horror comedy in here. And I'm gonna bring up Vince Vaughn as a serial killer, Freaky. And it is a fun body swap movie. And I think it's one of those ones where they do like the body swap great, done by the same people who did Happy Death Day um and I think it's one of those movies I think is a lot of fun. Catherine Newton is great in this, and yeah, it's just one of those ones where is that I really enjoyed it, and honestly, it's probably one of the better body swap movies out there too. Chris, what do you say about Freaky?
Outside my 12, I love Freaky a lot. I do. I just saw it for the first time this past year. But and what did want to do a movie that made me laugh the hardest? So it's Outside my 12 in my honorable mention.
Jacob, what do you say about Freaky?
I think we need a sequel called Super Freaky. Let's start working on that. No, I really enjoyed this movie. Yeah, I think Vince Vaughn is absolutely hilarious. I think he can play that, kind of tall, menacing figure, but then he's also just really funny. I think he can balance that really well. Catherine Newton, like you said, was fantastic. I think the body swap, I think it's one of the better ones in that genre. I think the comedy absolutely lands to Vince Vaughn acting like a teenage girl is just absolutely hilarious. I think between him and Jack Black and Jumanji, I think I don't know which one is my favorite, as I think he absolutely nails it as well. I'm gonna give it a yes. I think this movie, I think it's one of the better horror comedies that we've gotten in the last several years. So yeah, let's get some horror comedy representation on the list.
JP, what do you say about Freaky?
It's in my 25, but not my 12. Like, no.
I need to check out your list.
Chris, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
You know what? I was just looking at my letterbox. I realized I didn't put it on my list. It's time to bring some mystery comedy here. Let's go Glass Onion. Like, this is a film that is very Ryan Johnson, very humorous. And like, how many times do we quote Daniel Craig? Like, it's so smart, but it's so dumb. Like, because that's a quotable line from the movie. Michelle Monet is great in the movie. Everyone knows every cast brings the humor left to right. The cameo for Hugh Grant to Stephen Sondheim and everybody else, like, were great. It's just freaking funny, and I think the mystery more funnier when you get to reveal how ridiculous dumb it actually is. The little hot sauce that Craig put into his eye to make it look like he's crying. I think that's one of the funniest moments in the movie. I love Ryan Johnson. I love this series. Can't wait for Wake Up the Dead Man later this year. Glass Onion. I'm surprised I forgot about it when we're making my list.
Jacob, what do you say about Glass Onion?
So, Freaky was going to be my next pick. Then you brought it up. Glass Onion was going to be my next pick. And now Chris has brought it up. Yeah, I think Glass Onion, it's got some really good humor in it. Shout out Dave Bautista. I think he's fantastic. Probably the best wrestler turned actor. And for me, I don't even think it's close. I think he is fantastic. I'm glad he made the switch. Not that his wrestling was bad. He was a decent wrestler, but he's absolutely killed it in Hollywood. And yeah, I think I love the mystery. I love the comedy. I think this movie absolutely works. I'm excited for the third one coming out later as well. I think it's been a great series so far. So yeah, I'll give it a yes.
JPO, what do you say about Glass Onion?
In my 25.
It's in my 12. Suck it, Jacob. So, and also, I will third now, saying I would have brought it up next. So yes, big yes.
Yeah. So, Jacob, did you give it a yes?
I did. Yes.
Yeah, it's 3 yeses.
Yeah. Because it was in my 25, but not my 12. But yeah, I mean, I do like Glass Onion. I think definitely what I think Batista has shown to himself to be a great actor, especially showcasing different elements of range, and because everything he's done has been something different a lot of the time. And it's so weird actually seeing with here with from what I've seen from his appearances in the last Showgirl movie that came out earlier last year. um but yeah, it would have been a slight no from me for Glass Onion. Jacob, what's the next movie you're going to bring up?
Yeah, this is one I wasn't sure if I was going to bring it up because I just don't know how many people view it as a comedy. I do think it is a dark comedy, and I definitely laughed at portions of this movie. The Banshees of Inisherin. I think this movie is absolutely fantastic. I think Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, when you pair them with Martin McDonagh, bring absolute gold to the screen between this and In Bruges. Hopefully, they can do at least one more together. I would love that. I love the screenplay. Barry Keoghan is absolutely funny. I think he's the funniest part of this movie for me personally. And yeah, I think it's well written. I think it's well acted. I think the comedy absolutely lands. And yeah, just kind of the lengths that Brendan Gleeson would go to stop being friends with Colin Farrell. Yeah, there's moments that make you go, oh, and then there's moments that make you absolutely laugh. So I'll shoot my shot for Banshees. If it doesn't make the list, I won't be surprised. It is more. I think it is a dark comedy, so I can understand if people, don't get the humor as much. But we'll see what happens.
JPO, what do you say about the Banshees of Inisherin?
Yeah, that is legitimately my only hesitation is, do I put it directly in the comedy? I know Letterboxd had it. It's a dark comedy. I'm gonna say yes. It's that good. So yeah. See what you guys think.
Yeah, I've got a few of these which appeared on my list, like a list of these comedies. Like, I don't know if I see it as comedy, but my rule when it came to those ones, if someone else brought it up, then then I probably would say yes to it. And I love Banshees of Inisherin. I think it's good. And yeah, I also absolutely see the comedy in it as well. I think dark comedies are still comedies. So it's going to be yes for me. Chris, what do you say about the Banshees of Inisherin?
I love Banshee of Inisherin. It is a comedy. The poor Jenny, that donkey. She did not deserve what happened to her to the end. I love this film. I see it very much comedy. If they say yes to this, then one of might be up later with kind of comedy here, but we get to it when we get to me.
With that, the Banshees of Ed Sheeran is going to make the list, and and it goes on to JPO.
Hey. What do you say? This one I'm a little trepidatious about because I feel like some people are polarized on this individual here, but I love this movie here. Except for his last movie, All Bangers, which is The Bubble. Judd Apatow's King of Staten Island, Pete Davidson. I think this is a really great and sprawling story. Gotta have Chris chiming in. Great and sprawling story of a guy who loses his dad. He's trying to find himself here. I love his friend characters here. The whole new batch of friends. I think Apatow's really great at building these worlds, these friends. The connection with Bill Burr, I think, is fantastic here. Some great cameos from former AEW star Action Bronson. He's got a great cameo. So yeah, I really have always loved this movie. I think this is really well handled, and I think Pete's perfect in it.
Yeah, this is probably one of the only movies I like Pete Davidson in, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, see?
I mean, I not that I'm saying I've watched every movie he's ever been in, but I mean, this is probably one of the only movies I've seen him in where he's a star, like the starring role, not just like a pop-up small role in that. But yeah, I enjoyed King Said On. I think it's really good, and Yes, I'm going to give it a yes. Chris, what do you say about the King of Staten Island?
I'm one of the people. I like this movie a lot. In my honorable mention, I don't love it like a lot of people do. I think Brad Pitt is my favorite thing about the movie, and a lot of the other cast. I don't love Pete Davidson a lot of the actors. I find him a little bit annoying at point. It would be a slight no. It's just not like the film that made me laugh the hardest.
Jacob, what do you say about the King of Staten Island?
I do think it's good. I do think this might be one of Pete Davidson's better movies, probably his best movie. But for me, when it comes to the decade, I still think there's a few more comedies that I like more. And since there's only 2 spots left on the list now, I'm gonna give it a slight no. But again, still a good
Oh
movie.
man,
There's still some
I
really
know how
good
you guys feel now. I didn't have any no's till just now. Damn,
yeah,
I don't like how it
such a
feels.
good-
But with that, it comes it's back around to me. I'm gonna try for this one. See how this goes. And yeah, it's one of those ones. And I'm gonna bring up an MCU movie, and it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Look, say what you want about like the MCU. I know a lot of people have been sort of saying how post Endgames they haven't been that good or haven't been that entertaining. But I think Guardians of the Galaxy has probably been one of the most sort of consistent like subsection of the MCU, because like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was very entertaining. Well, yeah, it was more dramatic than I thought it was going to be, especially with like them focusing on the whole Rocket storyline and flashbacks and that. They still kept the comedy like and it's just and I thought it was just as fun as the first two were. And yeah, so I think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is great, and I'm going to see how this goes. Chris, what do you say about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
I love this film. I do. I kind of more dramatic and comedy because this is like the most depressing for animal lovers like myself movie to watch, and it's more emotional than funny to me. I think the one to do more funny would be a slight no, but I do love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Jacob, what do you say about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
I really love this movie. But yeah, I think for me, this leans more into just more of an action drama, adventure than it does comedy. I do think there's comedic moments in there, but you got to have those when you have the heaviness of the Rocket storyline. I mean, if it was just that heavy throughout I don't know if this would be as rewatchable as it is. So it's a really good movie. I probably like it more than some of the movies that made the list, but as far as comedy goes, I am going to say no.
And JPO, what do you say about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
Similar reasons where I gotta give it a slight no, just based on like the list of where my mind's at.
But Chris, we go to you for your next nomination. What are you going to bring up?
So I do shoot my shot because we've been bringing up movies that people consider comedy, drama. I consider comedy as one of the most satirical comedy there was this decade because of the commentary on people's perception of black film, black books, and everything, American fiction. I think the comedy is really freaking funny, especially as Jeffrey Wright became that persona of his, the gangster, writing this book, that make people think that he's someone who just escaped prison and all of this. Especially when he changed the name of the book to Fuck, one of the most funniest moments in the movie. Like, I think it's a great comedy and commentary on stuff. Like, I think the comedy really stand out. Charlie K. Brown is great in it as his brother. His comedy is really funny, like the little stuff he does, and it's a great dramatic movie well. But this is one of the most modern comedy I think of this decade.
Jacob, what do you say about American Fiction?
Chris, you sold me. However, I haven't seen it.
JPO, what do you say about American Fiction?
Chris, you sold me, and I would have probably brought it up very soon. So hell yeah.
You playing Fortnite?
Yeah, I liked American
Maybe.
Fiction.
Shut up.
But yeah, I mean, I liked American Fiction. It's one of those ones like when it came up on as a list, it's gonna be. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's nominated comedy at the Golden Globes, but as like it was also another one of those ones like after the scenes like I don't know if it's necessarily a comedy. I think it's a good movie, but I didn't really laugh at it a lot. But I'm gonna give it a slight no. But yeah, Jacob, we go to you for your next nomination.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a movie that probably surprised me as much as Dungeons and Dragons did. Just based off the premise, I didn't expect to like this as much as I did. But Bullet Train, I think Bullet Train was absolutely fantastic. I think Brad Pitt killed it as the lead character here. I love the different train cars. I think the action is fantastic. I think Brian Tyree Henry and Aaron Taylor Johnson are absolutely fantastic. I would love to see more of their characters in some aspect. One of the bigger surprises of 2022 for me personally. I think the humor works, the action works, and I just love this movie. So we'll see what happens with Bullet Train.
JPO, what do you say about Bullet Train?
Now we're starting to agree, everybody. This is on my list as well here. At least now it was. I think I took it off and put it back on because stuff I made it that I didn't think was going to made it, and then with the stuff I thought would make it didn't make it. So it's back on the list. So it's a yes.
I like Bullet Train. It's really good. But there's a few other comedies that are much higher than it that I want a chance to bring up, and I'm going to give this a slight no. Chris, what do you say about Bullet Train?
I like Bullet Train a lot. I do. We got two spots left. I had to give it a slight no.
You don't have to. You can think about this.
Fuck.
You don't have to.
Again.
Xavier, we go back to you.
I guess I'll put that on my list now. All right. All right, let's go with the most adorable shell that ever was. Her name was Marcel. Marcel the shell with shoes on. An adorable shell and her grandma just looking where the rest of their family and spawn could be at. It's somehow, again, one of those, you never know with movies. Do you think a shell would make you cry and laugh? It absolutely does. So, Marcel the shell with shoes on. Say it 10 times fast and vote for it, please.
I like Marcel the shell shoes on. It's just one of those ones that for whatever reason didn't hit with me as much as it seems to hit everyone else. And so I'm going to give this a no. Chris, what do you say about Marcel the shell shoes on?
Good, and why could you bring this up earlier? Oh, fuck.
I didn't think they were higher.
I love this movie. I do. We got two spots left, and this is just coming down to the line here. It didn't make me laugh. Had to get a slight note, an honorable mention. It just there's so many comedies that to fight each other out to bring up.
And Jacob, I think I know what you're going to say.
I absolutely love this movie. Would have been one of my next nominations as well. I absolutely love it. And shout out! I just found this at Walmart. I finally was able to get it on physical. So it's really cool. My Walmart usually doesn't get those cool A24 releases, so that was cool to see. I didn't know a movie about a shell was going to make me laugh and then make me cry. When people were praising this movie, I was like, "You are absolutely crazy." I can see why maybe it would work in short form, but no, it absolutely works in long form as well. So I would have said yes.
But unfortunately, Marcel isn't going to be on the list. And I'm going to try this and see how this goes. Because like it's been a while since we've had a really good raunchy comedy pop up. And actually, no, before I go, we've got Wolfman popping in here, so I'm going to let him nominate.
Holy
something.
shit! Shut up.
Yes. What all has been nominated so far? Sorry,
We're not going over that. Just try. A lot
Okay.
I'll let you know if it's been brought up.
All right.
Just try the next one.
All right, sounds good. So the one I want to nominate is my favorite comedy of the year, Anora.
Pass.
You've been
Shut
brought up.
down.
It's been done already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Next one.
me
A
and
couple of us
Malcolm
haven't
said-
seen it, and
I've just reposted what has made the list so far. But yeah.
Okay, cool. Nice. So
we
the
quite a
one-
few no's as well, though. So
dang.
Yeah.
'Cause because I was trying to get on here and root for Anora, but that's fine. I do want to mention though, I don't know how many of y'all have seen it. The one I'll throw out there then is Dee Dee. To me, that was both really hilarious, really funny, but also just so heartwarming and heartfelt. It's like the 2020's version of 8th grade. I was able to really connect to it and relate to it, and it's also has a little bit of mid-90s in there because of him being friends with like the skater dudes and all that. It's excellent, and you just get a great family dynamic in there, and and Sean Wang, the way he writes it like he perfectly understands what adolescence was back during that time. It perfectly captures it like no other coming of age film I've seen recently. So Dee Dee would be my nomination from this year, just to get one from the current year in there.
Yeah. I unfortunately haven't got around to seeing Dee Dee. Chris, what do you say about Dee Dee?
I love DD. I do. This is my third or fourth favorite comedy from this past year. Behind Anora and one other movie I might bring up. Two spot left. That's late now. Sorry, Wolfman had to sing it.
Jacob, what do you say about Dee Dee?
I really like Dee Dee. I just, if she would just stay out of Dexter's laboratory, though, I would like her a little bit more. No, Dee Dee is really good. Yeah, I do think it captures that really well. But for me, when in terms of the list, I understand that it's listed as a comedy, but for me, like, there just weren't that many comedic moments. I didn't find myself laughing. I love the movie. It was either in my top 10 of the year, or just outside. It's really good, really well acted, and I love the fact that Dee Dee is kind of a dick to his mom, and all the older kids are like, "Don't do that to your mom." Like, yeah, as you get older, you're kind of like, "Hey, no, I love you, mom. You're my mom. You deserve respect." And they're like, "Dude, don't be a dick to your mom." That's the moral of the story, kids. Don't be a dick to your mom. It's really good. However, yeah, I just didn't find myself laughing as much. So, unfortunately, I'm going to say no. But it is I'm glad it was brought up. It is a really good movie.
And JPO, what do you say about Dee Dee?
Never seen it.
It's on Peacock.
Yeah, you would love it. That is like a JPO movie, I think. Like when I'm.
Yeah,
I think you. I think you dig it.
Yeah.
But what I was actually about to suggest is, in regards to Anora, it was because Chris, you said yes to Annoy, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I think Jacob and JB haven't seen it. Well, because it was kind of a 2-2 split, and obviously Wolf is going to say yes. So did we want to put it on, go backtrack and get it on the list?
What's
or,
what's your normal rules when someone's
well,
late?
I mean,
What do you
so I
normally
haven't
do?
really, I haven't really had the case where someone's jumped in later.
I mean, and it's his channel. You can technically.
Well, no,
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
rules
was
as
there
he
pre-established rules?
No,
Well, no, I'm just saying, was there a pre-established rule? Otherwise,
I
yeah,
don't
do
have any
whatever is cool.
pre-established rules, so no.
All right.
Did we all be our split from earlier? A couple of them.
I don't remember every other split that we had.
Yeah.
Someone
Marcel the Shell was split.
Marcel the Shell bottom was split.
Well, let's not do that. If he votes for something, then we can talk. We're not going to go over.
He did say it was his favorite.
I
did say it was his
mention
favorite.
that,
I'm
though.
cool with it if it's his favorite of the year or the favorite of the decade. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Whatever's
so
cool
that
about it.
Anora is going to make it on now.
No.
And Wolf, I'm going to let you nominate something else again, just because like it wasn't your fault you had to work. So
he got the job.
I got the job, but they're supposed to give me every other Sunday off, and they're like, "Oh, you have to work this Sunday," and I was like, "Really?" I'm like, "I already had."
I hate when jobs do that.
Right. Yeah.
I'll let you get. I'm going to let you go again, just so you have a chance to talk.
Keep in mind, there's one spot left now.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm putting my food order in then.
Oh man, one spot left makes it very interesting. Okay, so I'll bring up one that is kind of, it is out there and wild, but I feel like it definitely is arguably this director's best film, in my opinion, and that is Poor Things from the organization.
Well, hold on. I guess we can talk about it again if you want.
Yeah, I'll let him talk about it, but like his thoughts. Was that a split one or?
No, I was the only one to say yeah. Everybody, you guys to know.
Oh, okay. Did y'all bring up Coda by any chance?
No one brought up Coda.
All right, then I will bring up. Then I will bring up Coda, which has I know it's got your tearjerker moment at the end of her, crying of us crying as we were watching her sing, Both Sides Now to her parents, and it's really beautiful. But there's also some parts that like straight up make me die laughing in this movie, like the scene with why can't I think of the Mexican actor's name? Shoot, I know the actor. I'm just blanking on his name, but
Eugenio Derbez?
The scene where he's like trying to sign to him, and he's like saying like nice to fuck you or something like that in the sign language, and then he's like nice to fuck you too and all that stuff, but he's like does that in sign language. Like there's some really funny stuff like that, and other really great humorous moments with like the dad and mom. And so while yes, it's got its dramatic moments and the moments that make you tear up and cry, I feel like this is one that just really stands as its own as a really beautiful and poignant comedy, because there's comedies in there that I see that made it on the list that you can also argue, like Banshees of Inisherin, it's got a couple funny moments, but it's not like that movie's kind of dark if you think about it. So like there are some comedies on this list that are like that, and I feel like Coda is one too that I would put on like the dramedy kind of nature of it.
Yeah, no, like we definitely talked about those aspects when we brought up those movies too. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Coda was one that I actually didn't think of until you mentioned it. For whatever reason, it didn't show up on lists of comedies and that, but it's definitely listed as a comedy drama, and I absolutely love this movie. I think it's a really good movie, and despite what people may think, I think it deserves Best Picture. I think it's a really good movie, and yeah, so it's an easy yes for me. Chris, what do you say about Coda?
I forgot about Coda, and it's a film that I loved with all of my heart. It's a movie I fell in love with, and I've seen it. I've rewatched a bunch of times. My family never seen it. Love showing it to Jam a couple years ago. It's one spot left. Fuck. So it's a, well, I don't leave it. No. Oh, man, you're killing me because it did brought up earlier, but I said, yeah, this is hard. I love this film. I did let Jacob and JPO decide. I love this film. It's just last spot. This is hard when making a list. So a slight no for me.
I would just
It
is
is
it
the
in your
best
12 or not? I don't know how it's hard.
It is, hey, and it would be cool to have a two Best Picture winners listed on.
Yeah.
Here.
No, that's not necessary.
I know.
It's fine.
But Jacob, what do you say about Coda?
Oh yeah, this one is tough. Because yeah, I absolutely love this movie. I think it absolutely deserved Best Picture. It was one of my favorite movies that year. But man, for me, it's got a couple funny moments. But for me, it's more of a coming of age drama. So I do think the performances. I was so happy when Toy Kotzer got the Oscar because I think it was absolutely well deserved. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a slight no. I love the movie. But yeah, there's just other movies that I think just make me laugh a little bit more, and that's kind of what I've been basing my picks on throughout the episode. So I want to stay consistent at least. But damn, Wolfman, you came in with two bangers, I think. So yeah, great movies.
And JPO, what would you have said about Coda?
I just haven't seen it, so no.
Wow.
Yeah, Jacob, you said no, right?
I did say no.
But
yeah.
I do want to remind you all that Banshees of Inisherin, at least in my opinion, I love the movie. Like it was my top 3 that year, but like it's not one that I really laugh at a lot. Like it's really dark and very like thematically, it's like kind of messed up. And everything.
Yeah, we talked about that. I laugh.
Yeah. But with that, it comes back to me, and I'm the one I was going to bring up before Wolfman turned up, and I'm bringing up a raunchy comedy. It's been a while since I've had a good raunchy comedy, and I think Joyride is an absolutely great, fabulous raunchy comedy, and it's just a lot of fun, and it's just one of those ones that I think I laughed at so much, and I think it's just one that I'm definitely going to going back to watch it multiple times. It's just one that I really enjoy, and it's the best use of a Nicki Minaj. It was a Cardi B. I don't remember. It's Cardi B actually. But Chris, what do you say about Joyride?
On my list to bring up next, I love this film. I think I laughed my ass off seeing it like the opening weekend. The K-pop scene in the airport is the most funniest scene in the movie. Like that's the like. I mean, and all of the people did great. Ashley Park is great. Everybody in the cast killed it. It is an underrated comedy. I think great year for 2023 for comedy. With between that bottom, Man Fish, and a few other things, like a really good banger comedy in 2023. Like, but it yes, because I want to give some love to a film that not a lot of people have seen.
Jacob, what do you say about Joyride?
And I was one of those who hadn't seen the movie until this morning. I decided to put it on because I have heard good things, and I was like, oh, it might get brought up today. And so yeah, I turned it on, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, that airport scene is absolutely hilarious. I love the friendship. Deadeye is a great character. I think they are absolutely hilarious, and I think they provide some good comedic relief through some of the more serious moments, like in the Chinese in the restaurant. I think they were particularly great there. I liked it. Did I like it enough for it to bump up into my 12 of the decade? No, but if it does make the list, I get it.
JPO, what do you say about Joyride?
Hey guys, have I ever said that a movie was in my 20 but not my 12? So I can't say yes, I have to say no because I'm saying it again.
Wolf, what do you say about Joyride?
Yeah, Joyride was an interesting movie for me because when I watched the trailers initially, honestly, it was like one of those examples of like a one of them days that we have right now and out in theaters, right? It was like one of those things where the trailer to me was actually kind of bad. Like I didn't like the marketing for it. I was like, this just does not look funny. This does not look good to me. This looks very cringe. Then when I went to go see the movie, it actually really surprised me and was really funny. But that being said, of like the raunchy comedies that came out that year, it actually might have been like lower down for me because I had like Bottoms, and I think I had like No Hard Feelings above it slightly, but
Really?
maybe slightly. I have to look again. They're both like neck and neck for me.
What do you have to look? Just listen to your heart.
Well, I have a letterbox to this. That's why I was saying, like,
Yeah, but I don't understand that you need to look at it and go, what do I enjoy more?
Yeah, I guess so. But oh gosh, it's hard. There's only one spot left. I think for now I'm gonna say a slight no, but it is really but it is. I am glad it was brought up, and having a raunchy comedy in there is something that would be fun. Sure.
But Chris, we go to you. What is your next nomination?
I don't bring out a movie that bombed this past year in the box office. I think it's a really funny action comedy. The better Ryan Gosling comedy between the two that came out the past 2 years. Fall Guy. I think that it's a great love letter to stunt people. I think the comedy is really freaking good with Ryan Gosling and the crazy shit he goes through throughout the movie. Like him and Emily Blunt have really good chemistry together. Aaron Taylor Johnson is really funny in the movie. Like the last half hour when they put their plan together to reveal Aaron Taylor Johnson's plot and the way they pull it off is really freaking funny. And everybody is killing it. And I think it's underrated comedy for this past decade. Nobody went to see it. Make me sad because it's one of the clever movies. Like great
Wasn't
love
it on
letters.
Peacock like 5 days later? Well, that was their fault.
Yeah.
Jacob, what do you say about The Fall Guy?
Yeah, this is one that I haven't been able to get around to yet.
JPO, what do you say about The Fall Guy?
It's in my top 50, so I can't say yes.
Wolfman, what do you say about The Fall Guy?
I mean, I feel like I know it's an action comedy, and it definitely is a comedy. It has its funny moments, but I feel like it actually works better as an action movie for me than it does a comedy. If that makes sense. Like I think that as an action movie and as a romance film, I feel it works better than it does a comedy. I feel like some of the comedy doesn't exactly land for me. So because of that, I'll say no, but I did enjoy The Fall Guy, even though that part didn't really work for me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed The Fall Guy as well. I thought it was good, and I'm actually going to echo Wolfman's sentiment. Like, I think it works a lot as an action movie. Like, well, yeah, there's comedy in it, but I think just as a pure action movie, I think in some ways some background noise.
We'll get it started later. Get
Uh,
us. We got our cards. Move right, shoot, get out of there. Just revive us, you're by yourself.
What is that in the background?
Nothing.
No.
Is that JPO's Fortnite game?
No, it's not. Focus on the Brigham.
Oh, I was trying to.
Well, hopefully we don't get a copyright strike because YouTube's weird. Alright.
That wasn't even a
I
thing.
mean,
no.
but yeah, but Jacob, what is your next nomination?
Let's see. I will go with another superhero movie, The Suicide Squad. I think The Suicide Squad is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, from that opening scene. Spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, but all those characters getting unalived. I think John Cena's Peacemaker is absolutely fantastic. Margot Robbie kills it once again as Harley Quinn. I think all these new characters that I know nothing about. I think James Gunn did a great job of introducing me to them. John Cena's Peacemaker. I haven't seen the series yet. I'm actually going to check that out this year, hopefully. Not a big TV guy, but I want to get into more TV, and Peacemaker is one of those because I just love this character so much. I think he's got some really great lines, some funny moments. The shark, Sylvester Stallone as King Shark. I saw that and I was like, well, that's going to be dumb. But no, it was fantastic. I think everything about this movie absolutely works. It's hilarious. I want to see more of these characters. The ones that survived. The Suicide Squad.
JPO, what do you say about the Suicide Squad?
Well, so it's one of the next two movies that would have brought up. I might have brought up one instead, but because it's in that 1 and 2 category, I'm going to give it a yes. I do love the Suicide Squad. The laughs are there. Hey, Pete Davidson's probably going to make the list, maybe. We'll see. But from the cameos to just, I really enjoy, like, they even redeemed kind of Rick Flagg's really kind of a better written character as well. Peacemaker's fantastic. Elba's good. Ratcatcher, whatever her name is. I love this movie, so it's a yes.
Ratcatcher too.
Oh, sorry. No points for me.
Wolf, what do you say about the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, the Suicide Squad is one that, coming off of the Suicide Squad 2016, is a vast improvement to that film. Even though I have fun with that film, but it's still a major improvement over that. And this is one that I feel kind of does the same mixing that we talk about, where it like mixes comedy in there with like drama, with really great action, all that. But it kind of fucked up that like the hardest laugh for me was when the Suicide Squad died in the movie. Like when the first team died, I was like, it was just so unexpected. I was in the theater just like howling, laughing, and like I was like a maniac in the theater because I was just laughing hysterically at that part. But no, it is really fun, and Harley Quinn is my girl. She is my favorite DC character of all time. So I don't think I can say no to my girl Harley. She is just too good. So I'll say yes to that.
Yeah, I like the Suicide Squad. I think it's a really good movie, and it's one of those ones like especially with how James Gunn sort of use characters, and that was like because you always know, right, with a group called the Suicide Squad, you know that you're most likely going to have some deaths. I didn't expect that much, but I think it's still a good movie. It's still funny, and it did and I especially John Cena as Peacemaker, like he's definitely the highlight of it for me personally. I'm gonna give this a slight yes. But Chris, what do you say about the Suicide Squad?
I fucking love this movie. If we do be at one superhero movie from this decade. That's a comedy. Sorry, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, great movie, but not that the funniest. This is the funniest comic book movie for this decade so far. Like the thing where they had a pity contest to see who killed the most, and then you realize that they're killing the rebel instead of the people they're supposed to kill, and King Shark spit out the fingers. No, probably the most funniest shock value moment in the theater. Just like what the fuck?
Oh, the Milton part. I totally forgot Milton.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then the whole like that's your mom, and then you see
Yeah.
that the creature they fighting the red. I love this movie. It's too bad maybe they do retconned it with what's going on with Creature Commander. Can't really go much more into that to people watch the show, but it is a really, really good movie. Like this is probably my favorite, my second favorite superhero movie from the decade so far, besides Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, huge yes for me.
But that's the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad is going to make the list, and that is going to close out the list if I've got the maths right. Yep, that is 12. But with that, we're going to go into honorable mentions. JP, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Sorry.
I would have maybe brought up a Free Guy. I really enjoyed the Ryan Reynolds comedy. I would have brought up let's see, Saturday Night from last year. Jason Reitman, great cast that he got going on there. Cha Cha Real Smooth, really good. Hitman also from last year. Shout out to Glenn Powell and Barbie, kind of ones that weren't brought up in my mind. My next 5.
That was my list exactly.
Hey.
Wolf, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Some honorable mentions I would have brought up is The Substance, because it is a satiric. Like if you watch that third act and you don't think it's a comedy, like that is pretty fucking funny. Like that is a really hilarious moment in the movie, and so it's like a comedic satire is how I look at it, especially after seeing it 3 times. So that would have been the next one I would have brought up if I did. Also, American Fiction is one I
brought up.
Oh, you brought up? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Because that's one that
here on time. It would have made it.
Oh man, yeah, because that was really funny. But hey, The Holdovers, that was my favorite comedy of that year, and that still made it. So, then I also, let's see, I have a list here that I'm looking at. Licorice Pizza is one that I do really like a lot, and I think that is actually really funny with the Bradley Cooper stuff. So.
Yeah.
So I think that one I would have brought up at some point, and then let's see. As far as the last one, I don't know if anyone brought it up already, but My Old Ass.
I saw about it. I made my own.
And then also A Real Pain. That's one that I would have.
Yeah. I don't consider it a comedy. Like that's the one where like.
I could see it both ways.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. For me, Barbie would have been the next one I brought up if it got back around to me. And one that came up, which I don't know if I consider it a comedy, but like Records came up. Apparently, that's listed as a comedy on Letterboxd. I didn't bring it up because I didn't I didn't fully consider it. And you know my feelings about Wonka. I love Wonka, but I didn't bring it up because I don't think any one else really would have gone for that. The Menu I think is a good comedy. A Better Man is a lot more entertaining than what I thought it was going to be. But once again, most people have not heard of Robbie Williams, so I didn't even bother trying to bring it up. Chris, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
You guys brought a few. Originally for musical comedy, I might have got brought up Matilda just because I think Emma Thompson is really freaking funny in the movie as Miss Trunchbull. Like that musical sequence when you just see inside her head is really freaking hysterical and funny. I know not a lot of people see that because the actor kind of killed the movie, but Bros is actually really funny. Bobby, my other animated one I would have brought out just because John Mulaney, his stuff is really freaking funny movie. Like Freaking Dog, Prince of the Last Fish. Like the stuff with him and Jack Carney, like holy freaking shit. Like some of the funniest moments in the movie. Then it just came out. I didn't bring it up, I put in my honorable mention, but if we had brought it up if we done that late in the year, I probably would have brought it up. If playing to watch one of them day, the new like female Friday movie that came out this week. One of the most funniest movies.
Yeah, wouldn't that be next decade anyway?
No,
Well,
no,
the way I viewed it was
the
to now.
2020's,
So I mean,
yeah.
If we had done it at the end of the year, I would have bought one of them. They really
Yeah.
funny, really raunchy. Keke Palmer killed it. I forget the female singer in it. Was Sheik, I think. How you say that? SZA. Really great debut for her. Like, do check out really their blog. The blood donation scene, the most funny scene in the movie that would make you laugh so hard.
But I mean, it's safe to say one of them days probably wouldn't have made it because I don't think anyone else apart from you has seen it. It hasn't even come out in New Zealand yet.
That's why I said in my honorable mention.
I know. I was just saying. Both and Jacob, any more on mentions that you had?
Yeah, I'll shout out another musical, Spirited. I think I like it a little bit more than most. I think it's really funny. And then Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. I think that's a fantastic movie as well. So I'll shout those two out.
I'm not gonna lie, I half expected you to bring it up at one point. I know how much you love that movie, Jacob.
If we were scraping, I would. Yeah, it's in the 20 to 25.
Yeah. But with that, it's time to vote on the order of this. The 12 that we have on this list, we've got The Holdovers, Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, Beard the Yellow Yankovic Story, Deadpool and Wolverine, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Palm Springs, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, Velma, Glass Onion, Banshees of Inisherin, Anora, and the Suicide Squad. And a couple of ornaments that came up in the chat. We have Leo bringing up The Gentleman and No Hard Feelings.
Funny.
Yeah.
But
I do want to say real quick though, it just shows you the contrast in the comic book movies, like the James Gunn comic book movies, of just like there's a reason why no one brought up Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 because that is not a. It was really. It
was brought up.
That is like so not a comedy.
Well, I mean, look, it's one of those ones. Once again, it is like listed as mix of comedy drama. I think
there's laughs in it, but yeah, if you want
to, it's one of those ones. Like I didn't mind the fact that it got denied. I just thought I'd try my luck and see what happened.
Shoot your shot.
Yeah, it is supposed to. But I love the Marvels. I know no one else did. So.
It's more of a funny thing about the film, but no.
But Chris, what do you have for number 12?
Wolfman made the convincing argument. Maybe we talked about it earlier on benching Eric Jarrett. I just think the darkness of it.
Jacob, what do you have for 12?
It's the only movie on the list I haven't seen. Anora.
JPO, what do you have at 12?
Ditto, Nora.
Wolf, what do you have at 12?
I have a D&D.
And I had the Suicide Squad, but Nora's going to end up at 12.
Great movie, but I do understand why it is number 12 because like it's fresh, brand new. So
yeah. Once it's no longer $20 to rent, I'll get it.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's dropped now. I don't know if it has recently. It might have.
I still want to shoot it for you.
I don't think it was one that came to my theater. I live in a small town, so we don't get some of those movies.
It came back to my theater, but only playing one showing a day.
But Jacob, what do you have at 11?
I have Thelma.
JPO, what do you have at 11?
I have the Weird.
Wolf, what do you have at 11?
I still have D&D.
I saw Suicide Squad.
I still had a bench in June.
Oh man, we're all split.
We got a 5-way tie.
Probably.
We got Suicide Squad.
Banshees- I'll vote for
Banshees and
Banshees if
Sharon.
you want to change.
No.
I mean, if you want to
there's people in
change,
the chat.
yeah.
I'm saying this is my second next one, so I don't know.
So you're changing?
Up to you. Hey, if that's cool with you, sure, just to make it faster.
Yeah.
It's my next one, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's talk about this.
Because well, it depends on if we're voting it based on the comedic elements or based on the quality of the film.
I mean,
Vote how you want.
It's one of those ones. I always say people can vote
Such a
how they
vote.
want to vote.
yeah.
I get the argument. I think I laughed at it more than most because I was the one that initially brought it up. I do think I laugh at it more than most people, so I get the argument. I totally do. To be honest, I didn't expect it to make the list.
If it's any consolation, I would have gone to the chat and it would have been Banshees anyway.
I'm cool now. I'm cool now.
But JPO, what do you have at 10?
Weird.
Wolf, what do you have at 10?
I'm still gonna stick with D&D. I think it works better as an action movie.
Hard disagree.
I'm sticking with the Suicide Squad.
The unbearable weight of massive talent.
And Jacob.
Noma.
Oh, no.
Got a 5-way tie. We've got
My next one would have been D&D, I guess.
Dungeons and Dragons. We've got Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, Film of the Suicide Squad, Unbelievable Rate of Massive Talent. I think I'm missing someone. I can't remember.
We'll say
anyway.
D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
D&D, Weird, Thelma, Unbearable. Okay. Just gonna put my marker down. Apparently.
Yeah, you fucking should. Why do you hate old people?
I don't.
Sounds like you do.
This is
Hey,
the other
Tom.
one. This is the other one that wasn't in my initial list. This is one of the other ones I said no to.
Old people.
I don't hate old
Yeah,
people.
Wow.
If it wasn't for old people, I wouldn't be here.
Anyway, Wolf, what do you have at 9?
At 9, I have. Let me write it down until I blank there. I have Weird at number 9.
Suicide Squad. Chris.
I had just because the angel stuff kind of not that funny in the movie.
Jacob.
Thelma.
And JPO.
Weird.
Wow, JPO hates musicians.
I do. I'm jealous.
I guess you could say it was a very weird choice on his part.
It was another one. I didn't know if it was going to make the list or not when I brought it up. I know I'm a lot higher on it. It was either 1 or 2 for me the year that it came out. I loved it.
I love it.
I'm also just a really big fan of his music.
Speaking of the Suicide Squad, Chris.
Unbearable weight of massive talent.
Jacob.
Wow, Chris hates actors. Thelma.
JPO.
Suicide Squad.
And Wolf.
Yeah, I also am going to bring up Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
So I've got a tie between Suicide Squad and the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Jacob, you're the only one that didn't vote for either of those.
Thelma. I gotta go. I guess I also hate actors. I gotta go Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I also want you to write out the full title.
I am.
I love the film. It just The agent stuff is so really annoying in the movie. This stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel that like that's why a lot of people suggest these long titles because they want me to wipe them out.
Just wait till we get to the 60s, and I suggest Doctor Strangelove.
Well, we've done classic comedies before.
Did that make it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Doctor Strangelove did make the list. I didn't write the full title. I don't think I wrote the full title. But Chris, what do you have at 7?
I kind of think the Suicide Squad is funnier. Deadpool Wolverine.
Jacob.
Thelma.
JPO.
Suicide Squad.
Wolf.
Just because I don't really remember a joke from it, I'm gonna say Glass Onion. Like,
The Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad is going to be at 7. Just to recap what we've got left on the list, we've got Deadpool, Wolverine, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Palm Springs, Velma and Glass Onion,
And the Holdovers.
and The Holdovers. Chris, what do you have?
Deadpool Wolverine.
Jacob.
Thelma.
JPO.
Glass Onion.
Wolf.
don't worry, you hate old people. I hate food. Glass Onion. Yeah.
I also hate old people with Velma.
Oh, man.
So Chris, Velma or Glass Onion at 6.
I hate you guys for the Summer.
Finally.
No, we're just going. Glass Onion probably be the next one, based on that.
I don't know. I think of it as like a murder mystery, but like other than the Benoit Blanc part,
Well,
like, I don't.
I will say, according to Letterboxd, it like is counted as a comedy as well.
Oh no, for sure. The
Yeah.
stuff with like the opening call, Batista's funny, Hudson's funny. Like, yeah.
They hot sauced into his eye to make like he's look crying like that.
But Jacob, what do you have for 5?
Glass Onion.
JPO.
Oh shit! I thought it was Glass Onion already. Thelma made it. Oh, Thelma should be higher. Glass Onion.
Wolf.
Yeah, Glass Onion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Glass Onion.
It doesn't matter. It would have been Deadpool Wolverine for me.
Chris hates superheroes.
Mhm.
I love Deadpool Wolverine. I don't see it as high as everything else.
Alright. JPO, what do you have at 4?
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Wolf.
I'm gonna. I didn't write the full. Couldn't write the full title about it, but Deadpool. You know what I'm saying? Deadpool and Wolverine. But
Yeah,
Oh,
I
Deadpool.
knew what you meant. I got Palm Springs, Chris,
Deadpool Wolverine.
and Jacob.
It looks like JPO's breaking a tie because I said Palm Springs.
JPO, Palm Springs, or Deadpool and Wolverine.
I'm gonna say Deadpool and Wolverine.
all right,
You chose rightly.
you did.
So we have
You didn't.
Palm Springs to hold over.
Palm Springs doesn't get enough flowers. That's kind of the reason I went with, to be honest.
Yeah. Shout out to making
still
the
here,
shout
I'm
out
still
to
here, by the way.
Yeah, no, I know you're still here. I can.
I'll bring
I'll
everyone
tell.
over.
Yeah.
I'll be off camera for a minute.
Good.
JPO, what do you have for 3?
Well, just for that,
Uh,
everything everywhere all at once.
Wolf.
So it just glitched up like on my end, and like JPO's face, I kid you not, was actually on Jacob Barber's face. It was weird the way the camera went, the way the screen went. I was like, "What the world?" It was funky.
Jacob Barber wishes my face was on his. Wait, what?
Ew.
That sounds dirtier than I meant.
Welcome to Rankum After Dark.
But I'm also gonna go. I'm gonna go Palm Springs.
I'm also going Palm Springs. Chris.
Just think Palm Springs and everything is more funnier than the holdover.
Holdovers is
Disagree. Palm Springs.
hilarious. Like, it is laugh out loud hilarious. The holdovers is in that thing.
But with that, we're now voting on number 1 between Everything Everywhere All at Once and the holdovers.
Shoot. This is legitimately tough. Hold on. Oh.
Chris, what do you have for number 1?
There's one with the ditto, so everything everywhere all at once.
Jacob.
Yeah, I didn't write it down, but everything everywhere.
JPO.
Holdovers.
Wolf.
I'm gonna go everything everywhere.
The holdovers. But Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to be number 1.
Bad picture winner, win the thing.
Oh yeah. There you go.
And in 5 minutes, I'll have the title written out.
Shout out to Palm Springs making the top 3.
Oh, absolutely.
And Thelma, I didn't expect it to make it as high as it did. It's a really good movie.
Yeah. No,
Good
Thelma
one.
was
You let it, Jacob.
Suck it, GPO.
But with that,
No.
to recap the top 12, at number 12, we have Anora. At 11, we've got the Banshees of Inisherin. At 10, we had Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. At 9, we had Read the Al Yankovic Story. At 8, we had the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. At 7, we got the Suicide Squad. I didn't want to edit the banner. At 6, we had Falmer. At 5, had Glass Onion. At 4, had Deadpool Wolverine. At 3, we had Palm Springs. At 2, we had the holdovers. And number 1 is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Once the banner will come up, there we are. But with that is the end of ranking for this week. Next week, we're doing, because in honor of Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, although I may have put Screenboat in the on the poll because at the time I planned the idea for the poll. Screenboat was coming out in January, then it's now moved to April, I think. But it's going to be top 12 non-horror characters or franchises that we might want to see turned into.
If you need a last-minute replacement.
But it should be fun. A fun topic to do. But with that, Chris, where can people find you online?
Can I go first?
JPO, where can people find you online?
Sorry, Chris. I have spaghetti at my front door. Yes, you can find me when I'm not popping up in here from time to time over at the Peerscope. We just started a giant ass tournament. Chris is in it. Jacob's in it. Malcolm, did you sign up? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I'm only in it if somebody drops out.
True. Well, Jacob's gonna Tanya Harding somebody any moment now. And but yeah, so we're having fun with that. Lots of other stuff over there. Lonely Marks, me and Jacob, we talk wrestling every Thursday, 10 o'clock over at the Lonely Marks channel. Popping up in all other places here. Tournaments, move here and there with stuff. I think maybe I'll see Wolfman later. Love you guys more than you'll ever know. Good night.
But Chris, we can be find you online.
You can find me here, there, anywhere. I had to double check with Tato. I do think I have my light out match later tonight with Richard J, but to double check, so thank you to that happened. But you find me anywhere else, and thank you for having me on, Malcolm. This has been fun.
Jacob, we can be find you online.
Yeah, I don't pop up much places anymore. Like JPO said, the Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast on Thursdays at 10, I believe. This week we're covering some sort of retro Royal Rumble. I believe it's 95. So that'll be fun, as well as we started a little fantasy league. So that's been fun to keep track of. So we'll do an update on that. I have a lights out match tomorrow at 6 Eastern against JPO. So that should be fun. We played once before and he beat me, so I'm hoping the result is reversed this time, but it should be fun regardless. Yeah, I also pop up anywhere people ask me, hey, you want to come on this? And if I'm interested, I say yes. So whenever that happens. Yeah, this was fun. Thanks for having me.
Wolf, where can people find you online?
You can find me on my YouTube channel, Mega Movies, where it is a packed whole long week for me to be places, because not only am I on here right now, but I right after this I'm going to be on the Movie Hero Network talking about our honorable mentions of 2024, and then I've also got the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday tournament bracket for 2024. I'm doing this Tuesday. I'm doing the final Oscar predictions before the Oscars are announced on Thursday, which I will be doing a live reaction for when that drops. And then also our best of the year and our worst of the year is coming up, as well as something I thought of, which is to do one about hidden gems of 2024, do a separate discussion on that. Cause there's a lot of underseen kind of hidden gems that came out in the year. So do something like that. So yeah,
Frogman. I know JPO's not here, but he loves Frogman.
So good. I actually really like that one a lot. Frogman was definitely under the radar. Yeah, so that's a bunch of stuff I got coming up. As soon as a Wolfman review too, I filmed it last night. It's being edited, but it'll be up soon for you guys. So
yeah, I just think it sucks how they changed a lot of your biopic.
They were like, we can't make him Ginger, so let's name his daughter Ginger.
But yeah, you can find me on Tape for Productions hosting Rankin every week. Next week is going to be top 12 non-horror characters / books that you want to see turned into horror movies. You can also find me on part 1 of the 2024 tournament. And also this week on my personal channel on Spare from the Past, I'll be talking about Backlash from the year 2000 with Steve Mesa. I mean, I'm also working on some special episodes I'm probably going to do throughout the year as well. I'm doing one based on the first 5 seasons of NXT, which is the competition era with Jacob Cameron and Richie. So that should be fun. But that's not anywhere anytime soon. It'll be sometime this year, most likely February, March. But until then, there's the end of Rankin for this week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. But until then, I don't know what this is.